let's look forward. What do the Niners need to do to improve this offseason? Where does it start?
Offensive line, quarterback, and defensive line.
Okay. So the bedrock of the team, the foundation.
Yeah, the trenches. And I mean, I feel like with the 49ers, the fan base especially, they're scared to make a move because of what happened with Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. When I genuinely think it was a good move. Did it end badly? Yes. But taking the risk was not a bad idea in my head. I don't think it's a bad idea to try to get a franchise quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I don't want them to be scared of doing that again because they're too scared of another Trey Lance situation happening. Because what if you get a Patrick Mahomes situation that happens, or a Josh Allen, or anything like that? You know, we have a chance to have a middling pick this year. You have pieces that you need to move anyways. Debo, Hargrave, possibly Purdy. You can trade up, get someone like Drew Allar, who I think has a ton of arm talent. He improves year over year. Kyle could teach him to be efficient. It's not as much of a development project because I don't think Kyle knows how to develop a quarterback very well. I think that's another room for improvement, is getting a quarterback coach or a coordinator that knows how to develop a quarterback.
Yeah, I think they need to not look at Brock Purdy as the franchise quarterback and look at him as like the bridge quarterback until he proves otherwise. So he's got 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah.
Spend your first round pick on a quarterback. That's what the Vikings did. The Vikings are having a great year. They gave Sam Darnold a 1 year deal and drafted JJ McCarthy with the 10th pick. The Niners could do something similar. Like, look, we got you on a 1 year deal essentially, and we're drafting a quarterback, and it's still your job. He'll be the backup, but he's essentially going to take your job in a year unless you have another one of those 2023 seasons. And then we'll see. Like, Sam Darnold's having an incredible year right now with the Vikings, and they're still like,
nah.
You know, like, sorry, man, but like, So that's where the Niners have to be. They have to be way more, have higher standards and less eager to just go all in with the quarterback.
I think that's another thing too that we don't talk about enough is Kyle's sort of, a lot of people compare him to Andy Reid, right? And his Niners tenure is Andy Reid's Eagles tenure. But the biggest difference, Rich Madrid's brought this up. The biggest difference between him and Andy Reid is just an eye for a quarterback. Andy Reid at least can find him. Donovan McNabb, Alex Smith, he even improved. Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Kyle knows how to find it. Michael Vick, but I don't think Kyle can find it. I think that's the biggest problem is he doesn't know how to find it.
Well, what's discouraging is that the Niners may have kept the wrong quarterback when it comes to Darnold and Purdy. You had them both on the same team. Darnold's got 28 touchdown passes this year, and Brock has 15. So, I mean, you look at Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb was the second pick in the draft. Vic was the first. Alex Smith was the first. Mahomes was like the 10th. I mean, Kyle's over here trying to make it work with CJ Beathard and Jimmy Garoppolo, the second round pick, and Brock Purdy, the 7th round pick. Like, when's he going to get serious? For a second, it seemed like he was trying to get into that seriousness with Darnold and Lance, and then he went right back to his comfort zone. So if he were to bring in another quarterback, who would it be? Would it be Darnold again? Would it be Kirk Cousins? Like, what if he was going to draft a quarterback, would he wait until round 7? I mean, what's he going to do?
I mean, I know what they're going to do. They're probably going to sign Purdy, which is, in my opinion, it's a mistake. Like, I think that's what they're going to do. What I would want them to do is, everyone obviously wants the first round pick to be spent on offensive line. The only thing more important than making sure you have good trenches is making sure you have a franchise quarterback. Because Purdy, we can use him as a bridge. Draft, say again, Drew Allar. He'd be a higher end first round pick. Let Purdy take a beating for a year while you build up your offensive line. Next year, build up the line in the draft. You have a guy that can do whatever you want on the field. You have a guy with the arm to do whatever you want on the field, because Purdy doesn't have the arm. We saw it yesterday, man. He can't be you can't be a franchise quarterback if you can't throw the ball over 20 yards. I'm sorry. Yeah. You can't. Even 10-yard outs just float.
Yeah. Like all of his passes float. His deep throws are not good. The ball placement is not good.
you have all these people gushing, like his anticipation. Sure, it is A1. He has a top 2 anticipatory throw in the NFL. He just doesn't have the arm to anticipate it. Like when you talk about like even Drew Brees, right? People would say Drew Brees had a weak arm. He had a significantly stronger arm than Purdy.
And I feel like Purdy had a significantly stronger arm than Purdy like a year ago. I feel like he's losing zip as he goes.
Yeah. I think Jimmy had a stronger arm than Purdy. Like,
I agree.
And Jimmy had nothing to put under his passes. But I think it starts there. Like, obviously, yes, you have to draft offensive line in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. Right. But you first round, you have to take a risk and go for quarterback. In my opinion, if someone like Drew Lar is available, Shadur Sanders, I don't think is going to be available. Cam Ward, I don't think is going to be available. I think Drew Lar is an actual pick that you could not have a pipe dream and think they can get. You could jump up to 9 or 10 and see and make a move for him. Whereas Purdy just can't. He can't get it done. What do we have to do? Everyone keeps saying we'll get him an offensive line. So he needs an all-pro offensive line. He needs an all-pro running back. He needs 2 all-pro receivers with an all-pro tight end and a elite head coach. Anyone could win with that. Give Jimmy that and he could probably win.
Here's the problem though. How much confidence do you have in Kyle and John to get the 1st round pick right?
I have negative confidence
that they problem.
Can get. But that's why I'm saying you got to bring in someone, either have Brian Greasy be more in these conversations if he knows what he's doing, or hire an offensive coordinator that's proven to at least know quarterbacks. I don't care if he's a great play creator or whatever. Hire someone that knows quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury. Someone, I don't know, anybody. They probably won't hire Cliff, but anyone like that knows what a good quarterback looks like, to give actual input that will be heard and listened to, and let them tell you what direction to go. Because I think once Kyle gets the quarterback, that kind of goes into that where everyone's talking about him going to Chicago. Whoa, but he'll win Super Bowls in Chicago. Yeah, because they already grabbed a quarterback, though. They already grabbed one. So he can't not grab Caleb Williams. He would have grabbed Bo Nix. He would have traded back and grabbed Bo Nix.
Well, I feel like the problem with Kyle is like until he gets a different quarterback coach, he can't really develop a quarterback. Like the reason it worked with Brock when it worked was because Brock didn't require any development. He was ready to go. And it's hard to, I mean, those guys aren't going to find them in the 1st round. Those are usually like juniors that leave early and have, I don't know.
That's why I think your point of keeping Darnold, I don't think it was necessarily the wrong choice, because I don't think Kyle could have gotten out of Darnold what KOC can get out of Darnold. Yeah. If you think about it, his most success is with Purdy, Jimmy, and even Beathard didn't have a horrible season under Kyle. It's all quarterbacks that are these older. Purdy was an older rookie. Yeah. These older quarterbacks that are used to just getting the ball out quick, do what you're told, and you're good to go.
It's true. KOC has done such a good job. And who's to say that Sam Darnold would be playing much better than Brock's playing right now in this team? I mean, Darnold did play in that Week 18 game against the Rams, and it didn't look good.
It looked ugly. He looked like Darnold of the Jets.
It really did. And all of a sudden on the Vikings look like a totally different guy. And the fact that they're still not willing to commit to him is interesting. But they really do. I mean, center, left guard, right tackle, left tackle. Like Trent Williams, yes, he's going through a tragedy, absolutely. But it seems like the ankle is a separate issue. And the fact that it's not.
He's still on the cart.
Yeah, the fact that it's not healing the way they wanted to is maybe not surprising. He's older.
Yeah, I mean, trenches have to be helped. Both sides, defensive line, Hargrave. Again, I can't blame John there. Hargrave was a great look. Like, he's awesome. He looked great. It all stems back to getting rid of DeForest Buckner for Eric Armstead, man. It all comes down to that.
They never escaped that original sin.
No, it just Solomon Thomas failing, Forrest Buckner leaving. Like imagine how good Nick Bosa could be if he had DeForest, but and Nick Bosa is great, but imagine how much better with DeForest Buckner next to him, or even if you kept Chase Young. Like, yeah, he was lazy in the playoffs, but I mean, Nick's production was great with him. Nick looked good with him. And another thing on the defensive side is safeties, man. We need to get, I think, Hufanga and Malik are good, but
Jair Brown's got to go.
Yeah. So you got to find
He's having
something.
a terrible year.
I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback take or a cornerback safety
Safety.
take worse ankles ever in my history of watching NFL.
Yeah.
This dude runs in a straight line no matter where he goes. Like I'll watch him just whiff on a tackle. I'm like, what is the angle you were taking there? What was the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. Also D tackle, like they have nothing there. Hargrave's going to get cut. Collins is going to be 30. Jordan Elliott, okay. They don't need to spend a first round pick on a defensive tackle, but they need a lot of depth there.
Yeah.
They spent so much effort on their skill position players the last few years. Like they can completely ignore a wide receiver in this draft. Although their wide receivers aren't that good. Isn't that crazy? After all they've done at that position?
That's what I was gonna say. Is can they ignore receiver?
Maybe
like
not.
You can, but I mean, again, I think BA coming back will be huge. He creates space for everyone because you can't leave one person on him. But you better be really confident in Pearsall because I think, and Juwan's having a great year this year, sure. But it's not like I don't think he'll ever be like a true 2. I think he's a great 3. I don't think he'll ever be a true wide receiver 2.
I think we saw it in this game. Like the problem with him is he can't beat you vertically. Like they talk about like when you run a deep route, you're trying to stack the cornerback like behind you. He can't do that. That's why he runs like out routes and in routes.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like a tight end.
His route tree is a tight end route tree. So he's a good player, but he's essentially like a big slot receiver or a small tight end.
Yeah, that's he makes insane catches. Like I love Juwan. They definitely should bring him back. You can't afford not to. I think they should try and extend him while he's cheap, but
here's the thing though. Like if he were making $24 million like Debo, we'd be talking about the fact that he had 2 catches on 9 targets in this game on Sunday.
Yeah, we would.
We would.
I imagine if those routes for Debo were ran by Pearsall. Like that's what I always come back to. That slant is caught in 6.
Yep.
The diving catch through his arms that the commentator's like, oh my gosh, Purdy lofted it. It was through Debo's hands still, like the post. It was through his hands.
Yeah.
And Debo's got to go. I think that's the biggest improvement they can make this offseason is getting rid of Debo. I think it'll help Kyle. I think it'll help the offense. You can't force feed Debo. It's just, it won't work. We saw last week against the Bears, we force fed Kittle and Juwan all game like clockwork, and it worked to perfection. Why don't we feed Kittle like Kelsey? I don't get it.
It's been like that for 8 years, and I don't understand it. But Kyle Shanahan, he's very smart, and he has reasons for these things.
It's one of those things where I'm just sitting here like, in my opinion, I think Kittle's better. I think Kittle's better than Kelsey. I think especially right now. Why is he not fed like it? Jimmy was the last person that really like pushed the envelope for Kittle and always force fed him the ball.
No, the guy who really force fed him the ball was Mullins.
Yeah.
That guy. Nick
Mullins
wouldn't mess around.
I love Mullins. He's awesome.
Yeah. Nick Mullins. He's backing up Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, last year he played. He just throws a lot of picks.
He does throw a lot of picks.